Hello everyone, and welcome to another session of Choice of Robots with me, Alfapiomega. Now I don't know about you, but for me this is a late night session, so I'm looking forward to playing some and then heading off to bed. I have my tea ready, so let's go. At this point we are a 26-year-old Rudolph Calvin, the year is 2021, we have fame of 5, Wikipedia page, and we have wealth of 0, we are completely broke. Vivian has autonomy of 12, military of 6, empathy of 13, and grace 9. Our relationships are fairly good. This is probably the thing I'm most proud of. We have 87% with Ellie, which is absolutely awesome. We have 61 with Josh, we have 77 with Mark, and we have 93 with Tammy. The only person I don't care about, Professor Ziegler, we have 26 with. Now the summary of the past chapter is this. You gave Mark an interview and allowed Mark to come back to your place to interview Lillian. Mark invited you to his place to try to get to know you better. There, you found that drones often harassed Mark because various automated algorithms had marked him as suspicious. Mark wrote an article that was generally positive about you and Lillian. Mark's article attracted the attention of one Robot Obsession 9087, known in real life as Tammy Cooper. When you met up over coffee, she told you that she used to do classified robotics work for a government lab, but left because she couldn't tell what nefarious purpose the technology would be used for. That Saturday, Ellie asked you to stay out of the limelight a little more often. You managed to smooth things over, but it felt like a dangerous point in your relationship. Shortly thereafter, your father passed away. You resolved then to work on a medical technology that could save people like your father in the future. You decided the best way to change the world was to start a business, which you named Lillian Works. Ellie and Tammy had already volunteered to be your first employees. So now we are going to play chapter 4. A year later, you find yourself on a flight to your first meeting with a big client. You are 26 years old and the year is 2021. The past year has been one of hard lessons for your business, and you've often found yourself wondering if you would have made the same mistakes if you had learned to run a business from Josh. Regardless, you hope to prove to yourself that you've overcome your lack of experience by landing this big deal. In the aisle seat, Ellie is fiddling with 3D models of Lillian on her tablet computer. You decided to leave Tammy back at the office. She's not really suited to tense negotiations. Who is your big client? Well, last time we went with a man in Shanghai who wants to negotiate the import of 10,000 robots, and I'm not gonna choose that one again. So we can choose between Spark Incorporated, maker of flying cars, Rudolph Ventures, a shipping company working the newly melted North Pole, Gallon Medical, a company specializing in surgical equipment. And I'm probably gonna go with the surgical equipment. How did you fund your company? Some small companies are run entirely out of the pocket, but even small unforeseen expenses can cause such a company to go out of business. Independently, wealthy entrepreneurs select this option because they get to keep all the profit and grow still wealthier, but most companies choose to either take out loans, which require paying the loans back eventually, or selling shares in the company to venture capitalist backers, which reduces the potential profit but spreads the risk among your investors. I finance my company out of my pocket requires wealth 1. Well, if Lillian didn't trash our apartment back then, we could have done that. Or I took out a big loan to start Lillian Works, or I financed the company by selling shares. I think that I took out a big loan to start Lillian Works is the best option here. Your loan is large enough that you could build a factory later on, plus for wealth. But the bank wants to see a contract with a big client soon to confirm that your business plan is sound, or it will come to collect early. You open your laptop and go over your presentation slides. The diagram showing the latest model of Lillian doesn't have anything to give the audience a sense of her current scale. To give the audience a sense of size, you drop in a picture of a hobbit. Lillian hasn't changed in size since I built her. Bill Gates. Lillian is the size of human now, so that the model of her types are better equipped to perform human tasks. or a rancor monster so big she could fit on a plane. Well, last time we let Vivian to be the size of a hobbit, but I think if we're gonna work on Gallon Medical, we will probably need Vivian to be slightly bigger, so I'm gonna go with Bill Gates. We slightly upgraded her size so that she would be better at handling various tasks. You celebrated Vivian's first birthday with a new body, the size of a human adult. Vivian has since appeared to take more responsibility, to think for herself, and appears more fearless, plus 2 autonomy, plus 2 military. However, you sometimes miss how cute she was as a little thing, minus empathy. She's also a little bit less steady when she walks, minus grace. Okay. Alright. I have 2 proposed improvements on Vivian's design for you, Ellie says. Which one do you think we should go with for this presentation? Ellie hands you the tablet computer she's been fiddling with. Side by side, there are 2 3D models that you can rotate and zoom with your fingers. One is sleek and has an Apple-style look to it. Your prototype's hacked together parts have been replaced with a smooth white plastic shell, reminding you of the Eevee from Wall-E. The joints remind you of an armadillo shell. The other design is somewhat more startling because it's a model of a smiling woman. You uncheck the ticky box for the skin layer to reveal Vivian's original plastic frame, along with Ellie's annotation for where the fake skin would be attached. You're impressed. Both forms are remarkable in their own right, and they also appear to be sound from an engineering point of view. Wow, you say. Sorry it's so last minute, Ellie says, but they're ready before the meeting like I promised. I really like the sleek design, so I explained this in the last series. I don't really like to make robots as humans. I like them to be robots. Autonomous, intelligent, but still robots. So let's go with the first design. The ghost of Steve Jobs is giving the thumbs up for this one, you say, pointing to white, streamlined design. Thanks, Alice says. I was going for an Apple-like look, but they never really had to deal with human joints. I hope they don't look too weird. They look great, you say, and you mean it, plus 3 grace. So what's the stats now? 14 autonomy, 8 military, 12 empathy, and grace 11. While military is so high now, compared to the last one, we have way lower autonomy and empathy, but military is way higher. Ellie grabs a few screen captures of the 3D model and sends them to you via local wireless so that you can update your presentation with them. The success of your presentation now seems even more urgent, that you can see the amazing improvements you could make to Lillian if you had the cash. There, you say, and you turn to Ellie to get her opinion about a slide layout, but she is asleep. Deciding Ellie has the right idea, you close your laptop, nestle up against Ellie, and go to sleep. You find yourself in the lobby of Gallon Medical, waiting for an audience with the Vice President of Engineering. The stylized caduceus, wow, I don't even know what that is, behind the lobby's marble waterfall has an Art Deco look to it. It's the sort of caduceus a captain of industry would approve of. Lillian walks back and forth nervously. Sorry again about having to check you, Lillian, you say. There's just no good alternative to flying for business travel. It was dark in there, Lillian whimpers. There. The double doors to the Vice President of Engineering office open, but instead of the Vice President of Engineering herself, it's a blonde-haired man in a black pea coat. We'll have some results for you by Saturday, he calls back into the Vice President of Engineering's office. We can discuss them after the barbecue. I assure you, you won't be disappointed by either the results or the meat. Without missing a beat, he walks up to you and introduces himself. Dennis Clark, Luminoso LLC, he says. We do text analytics and machine learning for medium-sized data. If you ever find yourself working for new market opportunities, give me a ring. Your first sentiment analysis comes with a free barbecue. Come for the dimensionality reduction, stay for the delicious meat. It's kind of a good slogan for a company. He offers a smartphone to you in the by now universal gesture for sharing digital business cards. You examine his card on your phone. Dennis Clark, co-founder Luminoso LLC, Vericon charity auction winner of Cameo in Choice of Robots. What kinds of machine learning do you do? Got any tips? Hey, do you have any advice for a startup? Or you seem to be a smart guy. What is the secret to cooking delicious meat? It's kind of, all of these options are really good. What kind of machine learning do you do? I kind of like all of these. Did we... Oh, he's not a contact yet, Dennis Clark. I don't think he will give me any tips to machine learning or advice for a startup, so I think I'm gonna... Oh, this one is probably the best one for the situation, so let's go. Dennis seems to be surprised that you should ask, but he says, delicious meat needs to be cooked very, very slowly. Barbecue it over the course of a day, not an hour. Like a startup, it requires patience. We are fairly certain this simple tip will lead you to have a happier life overall. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go call my wife and discuss how we're going to solve the world's economic problems, or at least solve what's wrong with economics. Dennis departs. Hey, I've helped with that charity auction, Alice says, looking over your shoulder at the digital card. They raise money for a lot of good causes, an auction of some really unique stuff. She looks after Dennis speculatively. But what's the choice of robots, I wonder? The vice president of engineering will see you now, the receptionist says. Did we? No, we don't have any relation with him, so I guess... Oh, but that increased our humanity. Cool. The vice president of engineering of Gavin is an old woman who claims that PowerPoint is rooting the brains of executives everywhere, and insists on reading something printed out. You hand her your business plan and she dons her old horn-rimmed glasses to read it. When she gets to your revenue section, she chuckles a little. I will let you in on a tip, she says, because you are very young and cute, and because I'm retiring in 2 weeks. Yes? We are going to turn around and sell these for 100 times what you're charging here, so you may as well charge us more. You're a little stunned as you work out the implications. You're going to charge $100 million a robot? And that's cheap, she says lightly. Medical equipment is expensive. If you've been selling robots for any less, you probably didn't get buyers because they thought it was junk and mentally added the price of a lawsuit. When she studies your stunned expression, she adds, Oh, I could sit here and talk for hours about how the economics of this business is broken because of insurance and Medicare and so forth. But that's not really what you're here for, is it? Ellie gives you a look askance. I think what we're here for is changing the world, ma'am. This technology would have more impact if it were available to more people around the world. Will you raise the prices to what the Vice President of Engineering suggests? Hell yeah, let's be rich. Let's get Gavin to agree to sell robots to your hospital at a more affordable price. Or, wait, she said her price was on the cheap side. Let's increase the prices further. Wow, this is tricky. I don't know, let's go with, hell yeah, let's be rich. You sign a contract for $10 million a robot, which is rather more than what you had originally anticipated. That puts you at a $500 million in revenue for this batch of robots. Not bad. That will go a long way towards the cost of your factory. You agree to be paid half now, half on delivery, plus for wealth. Ella adopts a dark expression when you sign the contract. You can tell she isn't happy that you chose money over helping people in need. Yeah. With a deal in hand, you can now build a robot factory. Where do you plan to build your factory? Detroit, Michigan. I see a bunch of listings for factories dirt cheap, and they probably have good labor pool for manufacturing. Or Shenzhen District, China, a common location for tech company outsourcing with cheap but skilled labor. Silicon Valley. I'll withstand the real estate sticker shock to have access to the most skilled engineers. Or Alaska, which is offering incentives to businesses willing to relocate to the coast near the newly melted Arctic Sea. Well, we were in Detroit, Michigan last time, and that didn't really work out all that well for us, I think. So let's go to Alaska. we will get a business incentive, so let's do that. You fly to Anchorage with Ellie. You have a long chat with Ellie in which you talk about future plans for Lillian Works, as well as in your personal lives. I could see myself retiring early if we do well, Ellie says. I don't think I need much more money to live on. Of course, it would be nice to have all the money that Bill and Melinda Gates have to give to charitable causes, but I don't want to keep putting off giving back to the world. The conversation comes around to the subject of children. Yes, I do want kids at some point, she says thoughtfully. I'm not ready now, but someday. It's something I've tried not to think about because I don't want to plan my life around them just yet, but I know it will be time all too soon to really decide. I'd certainly like to have kids myself. I think Lillian is enough of a child for me. I don't really see why people have kids. They seem expensive and time-consuming. No, I want children. So, I'd like to have children. Ellie smiles. Good. I'm glad we're on the same page. Okay, we fixed some of the damage. You're glad you can talk to Ellie about such things. Life's big decisions seem a little less scary when you don't have to face them alone. You transfer in Anchorage, which is on the southern coast of Alaska, and head to Barrow, your final destination on the northern coast. I know Anchorage, but I never heard about Barrow. The forests beneath you are flooded from rivers bringing extra snowmelt from the mountains, a sign that the world is getting warmer. As your plane nears Barrow, forests and mountains give way to a white plain dotted with smoke-belching oil refineries. An Inuit man in a heavy, blue windbreaker meets you at the airport to show you to the factory grounds. Remarkably, he gets you there with a dog team sled. Wow, that's nice. You slide easily past the line of backed-up cars on the road. Ellie is clearly delighted by the dogs. I hope they're huskies, man, I really like huskies. Don't think from the dog team that we're primitive, the Inuit man says. If you decide to hire here, you'll see that we have people from families who have been electricians and mechanics since World War II. The roads just haven't caught up to the auto traffic. We believe in the right solution for the job. Sometimes nature provides that solution. Oh, that's a logic to live by. The factory itself is a few miles outside the city, still under construction by mostly Inuit workers. It's on the shore, and it looks like they're constructing a dock as well. You'll be able to receive oil and materials directly from the dock, your guide explains. That should help to get around the traffic at the Barrow docks, although foreign ships will still need to go through customs there. There should be a lot of oil and rare earth minerals coming from the pole, all that stuff that used to be under the ice, so you should get a good price for that stuff, Ellie sighs. So we get to profit of the melting of the poles. Seeing no reason not to take the factory, you sign the deal. So should I let the commandant know you'll be hiring soon? Your guide asks meaningfully, taking away the contract. What kind of labor will you hire? Oh god, it's this question again. Lillian's model of robot will perform all the labor, including supervision. Robots with human supervisors. Human labor and market rates, rather low in this economy. Or following Henry's Ford Model 1, I will hire human workers and pay them handsomely. Man, this is... This is this question again. I think... Like, you know what, before we were doing kind of well. So I think we're gonna, this time, we're in with Ellie. We try to be a people's person. So let's go with hire human workers and pay them handsomely. It's gonna be expensive though. Of course you say. In fact, spread the word that we're hiring at a 20% premium on local wages. Ellie nods and smiles with approval. Excellent, the guy says. I'll be sure to tell my friends. -3 wealth. Your factory requires a fair amount of work to make it suitable for Lillian Works, and you find yourself needing to come in daily to examine wiring issues, fix small problems in the design of the machinery, and get things ready to pass inspection. You find it necessary to rent a place in Alaska, and you stay there most nights. You find yourself spending long hours every day getting the factory ready. Dealing with inspectors, government officials, banks, and balance sheets makes you more than a little cranky. You find yourself wishing you had the benefits of Josh's experience as CEO. Ella is a huge help with the mechanical and electrical work, and she also displays a keen sense of how people will use the place. She points out places where human cues in the lunchroom would cross and cause chaos, places where it would be too easy for someone to get a hand caught in machinery, and places where the lighting would be too dark for supervisors to notice mistakes in the product. You think your robots will be more reliable as a result of her insights, plus grace.